How shall we start this?
Do we not start every podcast with like, hi, I'm Helen Tudor and this is the Ideal Client Attraction Podcast, or not? You can have that. Done. Rocking and rolling, let's go.
Okay, here we go. Okay. You ready? Mm-hmm. Right, folks, we're back. We are on back. And we are talking in this one about aligning with your ideal client.
Yes.
What was the last one we just did?
Self.
With self, and now ideal client. And the one after this is offer.
Offer, yeah.
So we're in the middle.
We're in the midst of it here. We're in the second ring, and we are in the bit that I'm probably most famous for, which is defining your ideal client.
Which goes back to your LinkedIn journey, isn't it? There was a lot of that.
Yeah, how I used to teach LinkedIn, but it goes back even further than that, Mark. It goes back to my recruitment days. Yeah. So when I used to go and work with the client, I'd do ideal candidate avatar. Yeah. I'd draw them out. I would give them, we'd work together with the team and we'd give them a name and give them my life and all the rest of it.
I did recruitment for a bit, by the way. I could never remember client and candidate. I used to mix them up all the time. Like, God, I fucked it up again.
So I have this very simple process, which I'm going to explain, because I think as much as it's lovely to listen to the podcast and we're having a chat and everything, I really want to get this bit down as a process.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we got 3 key points here. Do you want me to highlight them, or do you want to dive straight in?
I want to dive straight in.
Go for it.
Okay. So how we do this work is we draw out a stick man, and that is very important. And it's important because we want to create them as a person, not as a category of people or as a demographic. So we're going to draw out a stick person. One person. And we're going to create an imaginary person that doesn't exist, that isn't an amalgamation of other clients or the clients that you may have had. It's a completely dream person. So if you've not listened to episode 1, please go back and listen, because we talk about this is a fantasy person. This isn't a real person. They are flawless. There is no friction. They are the perfect client. And we draw this person out as a fun exercise in imagination. Yeah. It's not hard homework. It's not set in stone. It's not like take this to the grave. It's like
stress fun.
It's fun. It should be enjoyable. It should be smiling and laughing and in good energy, right?
Playful.
It's playful. Yeah. So we create this person and we draw out a stick figure, give them a smiley face and some hair, and we decide, is this going to be a man, a woman, or a non-binary person? So we're going to make a decision, and we're going to make a decision based on how we feel. And we're just having fun with it. So this isn't the only client you're ever going to work with. You're not saying you're never going to work with people who aren't of that gender. Like, you are just going to have fun with it. And we're going to pick one person, not the only person you're ever going to work with, but this one person. And we're going to decide who they are. So we're going to give them a name. This is the probably the most important bit, is to give them a name. Because when we give them a name, we humanize them. So again, we pick a name that doesn't make us think of anyone. And a lot of people struggle with this bit. So I say, like, who's your favorite Spice Girl? And we pick one of those names, right? So I've got lots of Victorias and Emmas and all that kind of stuff. But giving them a name starts to bring them to life. So around the stick figure, we need to write, who are they? Like, how old are they? And they can't be 40 to 45.
Yeah, they've got to have an age.
You've got to be 45. Yeah. So that's the first stumbling block. Because I know my ideal client is women over 40. And it's like, that's not an ideal client.
What,
because
all of them?
Yeah, exactly. Because I, as a person, do not identify as a woman over 40. I am a 45-year-old woman, right? Yeah. So giving them an age, literal age, date of birth, giving them a job. So people say, oh, well, they work in corporate. I'm like, that's not a job. That's not what's written on their contract, They have to have a job title, again, a salary or a business, whatever they own. And it's like, well, I don't know. They could earn 50 grand a year. And I'm like, they definitely don't. They'll earn £57,000 and that'll be X amount after tax, because that's what's on their pay slip. So the specifics matter for creating this person. Yeah. So give them a name, give them an age, give them a life. Are they married, not married, single, divorced? Have they got children? If they've got children, how old are they? What gender are the children? Are they married? Is it the first husband, first wife? Have they got a second? Are they single? They live in, whereabouts are they living in the world? And every answer you give changes the image in your head. So, for example, we just say like, oh, it's a woman over 40. It's like, well, we need to pick, because 40 and 49 are different women.
Absolutely.
Create different images in your head, right? So it's like, oh, well, and then I always ask, what's better for you? So remember, the ideal client works about you, not the ideal client. So they say, oh, okay, 47. Great. Why is that important to you? Well, I'm 47 and I've been through, I know what it's like and all this, blah, 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 right? So allowing the person in front of me to really have fun with this and make up the dream person. So giving them a name, giving them a life. And then if you give them a salary, let's say she's on 60 grand a year, or 57 or whatever I said before. And then it's like, is she married or single? Oh, she's married. Who's she married to? And you can see the resistance. People are like, what does it matter? I'm like, well, if she's married to John, who is the CEO of a multinational organization, who's on a 300 grand a year package and a million in share options, we're going to put her in a different house than if she's married to Dave the plumber. Not right or wrong, it's just different.
Because it's growing now, isn't it?
Well, the image is changing. So
science, isn't
what's
it?
Dave do? What does Dave do? And what's your husband do or whatever? And what's his income and what? So based on that, so I would say like, right, so we've got Emma and Dave, for example. What do Emma and Dave do for fun? Like, what kind of people are these? Where do they go for fun? Where do they go for date night? Where do they go when they've got the kids? What do they do with the kids? Like, are they going out? And sometimes they do either or. So are they like doing yoga and eating wheatgrass shots and going down the artisan deli on a Sunday morning, avocado on toast? Or are they like working in the city, going out to high-end restaurants, going out for weekends on a yacht or whatever? Like, different people, not right, not wrong. Yeah.
Could be having a fry up.
Could be doing anything. Well,
whatever.
But it's defining it and writing it every time you write it. So if you say, these two, they go out for a fry up on a Sunday, puts a different picture in your head to these two who go to the artisan brunch. As well as the same as these two who are vegan, who always fast on a Sunday, for example, right? So just creating the vibe of these people.
It's about being creative, isn't it?
It's about having fun with it.
And creative.
And not having any judgment in the space. But if somebody's got children who are 4 and 6, they're in a different life stage to children that are 14 and 16. So you get to decide. So you just say, well, actually, if she's 47 and she's on 60 grand a year and Dave's got a good job and the children are now older. So what does that mean though? She had her children 15 years ago. Like, what happened then? And then you can go back. Well, she was working in corporate, but she's had 2 lots of maternity leave. And then when she's gone back, she's not really enjoyed it. She stuck it out for a few years, but she was waiting for the kids to go to high school. And so you start to tell a story about these people and have fun with it and enjoy it.
So it's a bit more than a list, and you're really building the framework out of
who's this person?
The backstory.
As if you. So I say it's a bit like having a character in a book. This person doesn't just turn up and like, Emma's 45. It's no, it's not. It's Emma looks like this. She feels like this. She walks and talks and acts like this. And this is her story. This is her history. This is her Netflix episode 1. This sets the scene for this character, And this is where we have to have fun with it. And the pushback is, what does it matter? Well, every decision matters because every decision paints a new nuance in the picture. Not right, not wrong, but better for you.
And also, this can be changed as you go. It can be adjusted.
It can be changed in the moment. It can be changed after. It's not set in stone, but every time you change. So I do have this in session sometimes. So they say she's 45 and she works in corporate and or she's got this job, and then they go, no, she doesn't. Ideally for me, she hasn't got a corporate job because I really need her to be able to be flexible and blah, blah, blah. So actually, I think she's got a business. Great. She's got a business. What's a business? Okay, well, what would be really good for me is if she was like, I don't know, had an artisan food shop down the high street because I could help her with this or whatever it might be, right? And it's like, great. So when she started the business, when did she start the business? Why did she start the business? What was she doing before then? So then we're like, creating a new version of Emma in our heads. This is why we call it co-creation, because we're both in it. We're both co-creating this vision in our heads, right? And we have fun with it, and I ask the questions, but you can do this obviously yourself. It's not as easy to do if someone else is helping you through the resistance. But when we've got a really clear picture of this character, of this person, then and only then we go into the next stage, which is the next bit of the paper, which is a sad face and a happy face.
Right.
So the sad face on the left-hand side is all the things that's going on above and below the line in our language now.
Yeah.
So everything's going on in the real world that she can see, hear, feel and touch.
Strategically, logically.
What's going on with her? That's a negative, that's making her feel unhappy, that's keeping her awake at night. And how are these things making her feel?
We're back to our bullseye here, aren't we?
So for Emma, this ideal client, what's keeping her awake at night? Like, what is she worried about? So for the new version of Emma, which we've literally just made up now, instead of having a steady job, she's now got a business, which has its own set of stresses, but they're very specific to this new version of Emma.
Oh, this is good. So
makes sense. So
if you're 45, especially if it's a lady, it could be the empty nest could be coming, menopause could be coming. Like, what do I do with my free time? How do I go back?
Yeah, but corporate Emma is a different to, I've got an artisan bakery Emma, right?
Yes.
They've got a different set of problems. So self-employed Emma's worrying about getting business, cash flow, and all the rest of it. Corporate Emma's like, can I stand up for myself in meetings? Like brain fog, like what's next for me for my business? Do I just want to give it up and leave? Yeah. Like I hate my boss. So different things are keeping them awake at night because they're two different people now. So you see how every decision has a nuance when it comes to this bit of the things that are really worrying them out, the things that they are worrying about. Now I get then to write down maybe the 3 main problems that this ideal client has got that you know you can solve.
Right.
Yeah, so this is where it becomes not just general problems, but the specific things that you've got that you know you can help.
So at that point there then, you're thinking about what your service and is, and then relating it to Emma. And
because this is very dependent on the person sat in front of me. So Emma who's got the artisan food shop could be an ideal client for lots of different people. But if you're a fit pro and you help Emma lose 10 pounds and feel great and look great and perform, you know, I used to say better in the boardroom, in the bedroom, but it doesn't work for this version of Emma now. But anyway, like if you help somebody lose 10 pounds, Emma can still be a dream client, but it's the problems that she's got that she can't find any time to exercise, and she's living and working in a deli, so she can't make good choices, right? So she's got specific problems that you can help with.
But you're only getting to those problems because you're looking through the lens of her life and saying, this is the thing.
But you could also be, God, you could be anything. You could be a salsa dancer teacher. She could still be an ideal client, but the problems that you're solving is she never goes anywhere fun with Dave. She wants to be able to look good on the dance floor. She wants to do something for herself because she feels like she's lost herself, right? So same person, the different problems that you can solve. Yeah. Yeah. If you're a business coach, then great. Emma could be if you're a business coach for retail organizations, great. She's an ideal client, but the problems that you can fix or you can help her with are cash flow, marketing, getting a new business, right? So it's all, 99 problems, but 3 are relevant, So you map out all the things that are going on that she's a bit stuck with, a bit frustrated with, that she's like things that she can see and touch that are problems. So cash flow and things, the top and also the bottom. How do these things make her feel? So when you're really in session, we've got 2 hours. So we've got loads of time with this. So it could be.
Do you just a quickie there? When you do the bullseye and we've got quadrants, not just halves, have we? Above the line and below the line, but because you use the bullseye and you switch it into sort of a 4-piece pie chart, do you do the positive and the negative as well?
Yeah, well, that's coming up to that.
Right, okay, sorry, Mark.
This is all the left-hand side, it's a sad face. Yeah, so this is exactly what we're doing, So the sad, under the sad face is all the negatives and all the things that she's worrying about, but really honing in on the things that are relevant to the thing that you work with. Right?
Yeah, this is where you come in, isn't it? As our lovely listeners. This is where your product, your service comes in that relates to Emma. And it's completely
unique to you.
Yeah,
so somebody, you could have 100 different businesses who could have Emma as an ideal client.
Can I just ask then? I can get that there's resistance when they're doing the creation side because they go, Helen, I'm making this up. You know what I mean?
I'm making it up. You are making it up,
but because you make it fun, that lowers the resistance. Just have some fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. But I would imagine, though, that falls away a lot. The moment you start saying, show me the problems that you solve for her, I would imagine that there's very little resistance there because they're going to be, if they like the work, if they're proud of their work, if they want to help people, I would imagine there'd be very little resistance to that point. Like if I just use me as an example, here's Mark talking about, I don't know, Sarah that wants a podcast, blah, 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 and I profiled it up, but then you said to me, so Mark, what problems do you solve? Oh God, let me tell you, the tech's gone. Just turn up and talk, then there's no resistance from me there. But when people go through the co-creation side of things, do you start to see the synergy there?
Oh yeah, we start to move through this. This is why it's like a 2-hour process, right? It used to be an hour, and it's 90 minutes. Now I have to leave 2 hours because I don't really want to rush it because it's the lowering of the resistance, but also the amping up of the excitement and of the
that's good.
Seeing the possibilities.
Like
it's beautiful.
The lowering of the resistance.
It happens at the same time. It's wonderful. I'm just drinking my tea because I've done it so many times. I know what's going to come.
So this is why you then start getting excited and saying, Mark, you're not going to believe this session I've just done. Fucking hell, it was like it blew up.
Unbelievable.
So, I get it now.
And then we can really on this side, it's talking about the problems that they've got, but how does this make them feel? And what does this look like for them? And how does this manifest in their lives? And what does this actually look look like? You know, so we can really start to talk in their language.
Yeah.
What are the words in their heads? Because nobody's lying in bed thinking, I really want a podcast. Yeah.
No.
But they're lying in bed thinking, I need more clients. I need to get my voice.
They're not
I need
listening
people
to me. They can't
listen
hear me.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where to start with my marketing. I know I feel like I want a podcast, but I don't know where to start. I'm scared of the tech. And then the other question I ask on this side of the negatives is, what have they already done to try and solve the problem? So for a lot, it's like, well, they've been on YouTube and they've maybe read books and they've done all this but they're ready to really put their money where their mouth is and solve the problem, right? So we want our ideal client to be agitated to the point of taking action.
Right.
And that's okay, because we're having fun with it. And we're just like, we can say she's been thinking about a podcast for years. She's told everyone, and people laugh at her now because they know she's never going to do it. And every year they say she's going to do it. And like really build that, almost that shame, because that's a really good point for her to feel. Yeah, when it comes to, and I'm not a pain point marketer particularly, but talking about where they are now in a language that they understand is really powerful. And really, they've got all of these different problems like we all have as adults, you know, there's a lot going on, but really honing in on what is it, the problems that you can fix and going a few levels deeper with that, you know, which means that. And another question I ask is like, well, how do they feel about the next 5 years? You know, what happens? What's the worst case scenario here if they don't fix the problem? And this is just as relevant.
The future pacing of it.
Yeah. So people tend to think this is for, or could be for people who sell to the end user, but it's just as relevant for people who sell into B2B. So people who are in roles, because people who are in roles are people too, who lie awake and worry about things to do with their job. Right. So it could be around, if you say you go in and do wellbeing workshops, for example, you're selling to corporates. Well, now we're mapping out like Gemma, and she's 52 and she's a HR director and she used to love it, but now she hates it because, you know, the business has grown. She's not been given any more resources. She's feeling really frustrated. She's got to fix the problem. And also she's married to Mike, and Mike's also in corporate and he's got $100,000 a year job, and then he goes off and plays golf and she plays tennis, and like they're a different couple to the last couple, right? They're a bit more, I don't know, like wholesome, and they've got a Labrador and they have fun with this new character. But she's also somebody who's got a problem at work because there's a problem because she's firefighting and people are asking her, you know, she's seeing people going off sick and people worried and all the rest of it. Now, the problems that you can fix for her are how she feels about work. And the practical above the line stuff is how things improve at work. So those things are really important because for her, for Gemma, she doesn't like what you're thinking, oh, I wish I could find a well-being supplier from out. It's like, I am going to lose my job if people keep going off sick and I'm getting the blame for not solving the problem. So when she sees my client online on LinkedIn or wherever, it's like, oh wow, she does wellbeing workshops, she charges $5,000, she's got all these great testimonials, she's going to solve my problem, I'm going to give her the money, I'm going to take the credit. I'm going to go into that next board meeting saying, I've solved the problem, all the data's going in the right way, I'm going to feel amazing, I'm going to start being nice to Mike again, like our life's going to get back on track, like it's going to be great, you know, like, and that ripple effect of solving the problem, you know, is individual to the ideal client.
Do you get, when you get to that stage then and you start co-creation with them and you're helping them map that out, do they show any doubts about their product or service at that point? Or is there a different...
There's another bit coming up.
Right, I'm going to say, because do they doubt themselves and think, oh, well, is my service really that good? Or
not really, because at this point, it's all about the client.
Right.
So we're really digging into who they are, yeah. And this is about energetically being in their shoes.
So by that default then, by that definition then, sorry, you're still in creation, having fun with it, like dreaming it.
Yeah. And we've almost been silly with it. Like worst case scenario, like Mike runs off with the girl from work, you know, because she's so snappy and horrible and because she can't solve this problem at work, you know. And
dog chews the sofa,
you know, she dies alone in a flat being eaten by cats or whatever. Like, but you know, she's got loads of problems, you know, perimenopause, or she's menopausal, she's got this, she's got that. But this one problem at work, she could just solve that, would domino into a lot of other things. So really understanding the client and what's going on for them personally, professionally, spiritually, on a soul level, above, below the line, right? So they're the negatives though.
Right.
Then the right-hand side of the paper, I've got thousands of these, is a happy face. So now what I do is with the client in front of me is we have a little pause, right? And we sort of have a moment to pray for our ideal client, right? Because this wonderful person who we love dearly has got all of these problems.
Who you've just put in the shit.
Yeah, it's got these problems and we want to help them. So we have a moment for that.
Yeah.
Then I get them to say, and this is, if you're one of our lovely listeners, be listening to this, it's like, right now, I know some of them will be writing as we speak. So now I want you to imagine this dream client, our lovely Emma in our first instance, Gemma in our second. Let's go with Emma. So the lovely Emma sees your post on Facebook, sees your post on LinkedIn, and it speaks directly to her soul. And she goes, wow, yeah, this person's for me. She reaches out to you. She buys your thing, your program, your coaching, your widget, your pair of shoes, whatever it is, right? And she does all the things. She does all the work. That's really important. Everything, she's the best client. She's the dream client. Yeah, she shows up to every session, every call, whatever it is. She becomes the best member of your community. She becomes your biggest fan. You love, like, your best friends. Like, you fall in love with each other. Like, oh my God, like, you like cheese, I like cheese. Oh, like, we're best friends. Like, it's every time you see her, it's like fantastic and wonderful. And it's all like the best thing ever. And your work is amplified because she's the best client and you feel amazing and she feels amazing. She gets these amazing results, solves all of her problems. Now tell me what life's like 6 months down the line. Yeah, or a year, but usually 6 months down the line. She's spent the money, she's done the work, she's got the result. What's life like now? Then we see an energetic shift. Like, oh yeah, she is smashing it. So let's say you're a fit pro and you help her lose that stubborn last 10 pounds. It's like, oh my God, she feels amazing. She's like buying all the new clothes. She's strutting around the cafe feeling fantastic. She's introduced all these new like low fat, like protein rich foods that's got the cafe absolutely stacked out because I've taught her all this stuff. You know, she's absolutely having the best time of her life. She's lovely with her husband. She's more present with her children. She's doing all the good stuff for herself again because she's feeling more confident. She's doing all her self-care. Like, her life is completely transformed. You know, she goes and spends more time with her mum. She's a better friend. She's a better partner, a better parent. You know, she starts giving money to the homeless again. Like, you know what I mean? She's just on this upward trajectory and she just can't believe that she's made this amazing decision. She's everything I'll say, like, how does she feel about the decision she made 6 months ago? It's like, oh, she thinks it was the best thing she ever did. You know, it's changed her life. It's had this huge ripple effect. And I said, what does that mean? Well, she feels like this, she feels like that. And what does that mean? Well, it feels like this. And what does the next 5 years look like for her? Oh my God, she just feels amazing. And the same with like Gemma in the HR example. Well, I went in and did the wellbeing workshops and everyone loved them and everyone, really took off and everyone really adopted it and really was doing it with each other and it changed the culture of the company. And now Gemma's been promoted. Like her MD thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread. She's been teaching this stuff. She's been talking about it. She's won awards. I don't know. She can pick and choose what job she wants to get next because she's got all of this kudos for solving this huge problem. All the staff love her. She's like living her best life. She's happier at home. She's like, they've got another dog. They're going away together because she feels like she can switch off from work and all that kind of stuff, right? So looking at the outcome. And the energy is totally different, right?
Yeah. But what's happening to your client at that point when you are going there? They are going boom, 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 boom.
And you know what? I could do it all day because it's almost like addictive. It's intoxicating.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting more excited. She's getting more excited. It's almost like this coming because we're visualizing this new life for this person who we really connected with and felt sad for, basically. And we're now seeing this future for this person and also, but how that's going to make my client feel. So then I asked them, so how does this make you feel? Oh my God, I feel like this is amazing. It's made me, I show up better. I sell better. She's brought all her friends to me and I've helped them and it's been fantastic. And what does she say to you? She says, I'm the best thing ever. She, and how else has this impacted your business? Well, it's meant that we can do this and this. And it's like, and then I say, do you think that's worth $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000? And they always go, oh yeah, it is. It is for that. When you put it like that, that's what they say. Yeah. When you put it like that, it sounds like it's worth it.
It's worth $5,000.
I was like, it is worth it. Yeah. Like, it is worth it because if you give people that transformation, it is worth it. Yeah. So that's the outcome side of things, and we paint the next 5 years for the client as well. So there's a real duality between.
You paint the next 5 years for that avatar that you're doing in the co-creation. Yeah. Not your client who you're helping with.
No, for the avatar.
Yeah.
So what's next? How are they feeling about the next 5 years?
Yeah,
They're feeling really excited and confident and all the rest of it. But it's all usually about feelings rather than tangible. Yeah. The actual outcomes are normally below the line rather than above.
Right.
There's a bit of both, but it's how the stuff above informs the below, right?
Yeah.
So we're moving our client to the right. So good things are happening above and below, right?
Yeah. Then
we move on to the next section of the process. So we've done that and it's a high, right? We're on a high. Mm-hmm. Normally I have to run off and go for a wee at this point or let the dog in or out or something, because that's normally the first hour. And then I say...
Is it the wee from excitement?
It's just I have to like
the joy
run
of it, yeah.
to the house and back, so I'm in the garden. So then it's, okay, so what is it about your product or service that Emma or Gemma, let's use Emma, that Emma absolutely loves? So what is it about the thing that you do and the way that you do it that they really love? Yeah, so let's say she's a fit pro and she helped Emma lose this weight and feel great. It's like, well, she loves it because it's online. She can do it from anywhere. She loves the fact she's got unlimited access to me, so she can message me when I've got a meltdown. She loves the guides that are promoted because it means that the guides that are created, because it means that she can just take them to the shopping. She loves that I've got a chat GPT bot or whatever. She doesn't have to calorie count, whatever it might be, yeah? Just the same as if it was on the flip side, it's in person and it's all calorie control. Somebody else would love that, but your ideal client loves these features that are, really relevant for them.
So just on that, so you're getting into product there a little bit, aren't you, and service, and so
this is the next step, yeah.
So I'm guessing they might already have a product or service that's already set up, but do you start doing a creation there as well, because it's naturally calling for it?
Well, we know what the offer is before they do the ideal client.
Okay,
yeah,
right. Yeah.
So we do that in the tell me about you, because then it brings you to the business, and then what is the offer right now
that they've currently got.
Yeah. So when we've got the offer, then we do the ideal client.
Yeah.
So they might say, right, it's a 12-week program and it's $3,000. Yeah.
But that could change.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
It could do, yeah. And sometimes they say, you know what, if I did this and this would be even better for the ideal client, or the ideal client really wants this and this.
How wonderful that they feed off each other a little bit too.
Oh yeah, they do, for sure. So it's like, okay, well, what does this client really value from the thing you do and the way you do it? And what do they love about it? The way it's delivered, what it is, the value they get from it. And this is just bullet points.
Yeah.
But this is where my client in front of me comes to life, because then they're on solid ground here. Because they love that it's this and it's that and it's this, you know? And like for the well-being corporate, it could be like, oh, she loves that we only had to have one call and we sorted out all the, it was really easy for her to do it. She only had to have one conversation. I came in and delivered it. She didn't have to worry about it. I did all the surveys and everything and fed it back to her in a way that she could take it back to the board and whatever it might be, right? I made things really easy, but it also worked, and they were really raving about it and whatever it might be. Great, that's quite easy, but that really gets you to see the connection between the client and the offer. Yeah, so what is it about your offer that's really relevant for this client? What do they love about the offer? Then the next question is, what does this client absolutely love about you?
Right.
And this is where people stumble a bit. Not everybody, but they're like, oh.
Bit of humbleness.
Bit humble, yeah. So, they like that I know what I'm talking about, or they like that I've got experience, or they like, and then I will usually feed back to them, okay, let me tell you what I like about you. Yeah. I love your energy.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, I love your energy. I love you, you've got a really nice vibe. You make me feel safe. You make me feel like nothing's a problem. A lot of my clients are like that. They've got kind of like mum energy. Like, they make, I
wonder why.
I always say, like, I feel like I could tell you anything and you wouldn't judge me, and you'd be like, arm around the shoulder, then come on, let's get on with it. So, like, I tend to feed back to them a little bit, and they tend to love that, and we're really bonding in this moment, because we've been through this experience.
There's nothing better.
Yeah,
it's
just
the best.
be fed back.
It's the fucking best.
If you struggle with that, say, okay, what have clients said about you in the past? Well, they say that I'm this and I'm saying that, right? So what is this client going to love about you? What's going to love? And this can be business and personal. So this could be above and below the line. Well, it could be like, well, she loves that we're both parents with teenagers and we bond over that, right?
So very practical demographic type
stuff. We're both United fans, for example. Like, we've got things in common. It could be as simple as that, as well as, and again, you can just list these out, but she loves that I'm straight to the point, I'm no nonsense, so I say it as it is. But she also loves that I'm really kind and caring. She might love that I'm spiritual, because it means that we can bond over like crystals in our bra or whatever. So but these are the things that are very unique between you and them. Yeah. But it really gets you thinking about it's not just about my products and service, it's about the way that I deliver it that's really valuable.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, why is now the time for this client to take action?
Okay, so like a sense of urgency now is...
Yeah, so what is going on in Emma or Gemma's life that means that now is the time? You know, and this can range from anything really, but sometimes it's like, well, if they don't do something, they're still going to be £10 heavier like this time next year. You know, they're fed up with it and they can't fit in any clothes and they're just sick of it and they've reached that point. You know, Gemma might be like, I've got to do something this quarter because I've got a budget to spend. So there can be above and below the line reasons for that as well. But something that says, this is why now is the time for me to take action. And then what does this client need to do next to get your thing?
Next steps.
Next step, basically. And this is nearly always send me a DM or like, you know, just join my thing or click on a button.
Call to action. Make it easy.
Just a simple call to action. Yeah.
At that point, it can be.
Yeah.
Can't it? You don't, yeah.
And then I finish off with how is this client going to make you feel? Like if we wave a magic wand, I'm going to give you the practice to do, and you're going to connect with this person every day, and we're going to write to this person's heart and soul. And when we manifest those people in, so we've already worked out how much money you want to make and how many of these clients you need to do that, right? So when you're making 10 grand a month from 10 clients, right, or whatever it might be, and they're all like this, how does your life change? How does this make you feel? How does things change for you?
Do you specifically leave this till this point?
Yeah, to the end. Like, what is the ripple effect for this for you? So how does this impact you on above and below the line?
Is this where that magic truly goes kaboom?
Because then we've got a few things lined up, I think, here, because we've got the visual, we've got the vision, we've got somebody in our heads that we can actually bring to life. And that is step one, right, with ideal client work. But we've also got the purpose of making this person, of like seeing like this person's great for this offer because of this. So it's almost like this makes sense now because yes, that's that dream client, but this is the offer and this is why.
Yeah.
You know, so the client in front of me is feeling like I've got clarity on now on why this person would buy it and why that person is ideal for me and also why I'm ideal for them. So it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship where
they're all linking now.
Well, it's all aligned. We've got alignment of self, offer, client and offer. But what we've done is we're now future visioning for my client. We're future visioning of what life's going to be like when they attract these clients to them. They know how many they've got to attract. They know what they're going to charge them. They know what they're going to sell them. They've got ultimate clarity on a strategic level, but they also know how it's going to feel. So all this underpinning spirituality.
So above and below.
Above and below. They know how this is going to feel. They've had time with me in the energy of the client, of the offer, and of the future. So when we get our vibrations to that level, that's when manifesting works. So manifesting is setting an intention and then taking action to bring that thing towards you. This is the ultimate intention setting and energetic alignment in a 2-hour session, right? Because then so there's two couple of things happen then. So one is that I do a card pull. So I pull a couple of cards. One is what they need to hear now, and one is what they want to do next. And they are always off the scale, like really blow my mind what comes out of those, because they'll resonate with them on a level I don't even understand, you know? And they'll just be like, wow, that really says something to me. Yeah. But that's the cards, that's not me.
A bit voodoo.
Yeah, but then the next thing is I give them a tangible thing to do and a spiritual thing to do, because we've always got to have the two, right? So from a strategic point of view, they have my handwritten notes. And if you're doing this exercise for yourself, you'll have your handwritten notes, which is a stick figure with a whole plan of who they are. And you've had fun with it and you've scribbled things out and you've written new things, but you know their name, their age, their job, their partner's name, age, job, children, and what they do for fun and all the rest of it. You got that at the top. Then you've got your sad face, which is all your problems and concerns. And that, in my notes, is normally 2 pages of A4. Because lots of bullet points on that. And what that means to them. On the right-hand side, you've got your happy face and all the big outcomes you're going to get. Then you've got your bullet points of why your offer and why you as a person and what next. Now, what you need to do with those notes, well, I'll give you the old school and the new school versions. So the old school version is you hold it and you close your eyes and you go like this with your finger and you press it on the page, and wherever you land, you write about that. Yeah. So it could be something about the person. It could be something about a problem. It could be something about an outcome. It could be something about your offer. Like we used to do this in the agency, just literally spin around and press our on the wall. Yeah. We used to have Post-it notes on the wall. But you can literally just pick one thing and write about it. So I call them jump off points.
Right.
So it might say, you know, for Emma, it might be like worried about how she feels when she's serving customers. She'll write about that. Yeah, or it could be, you know, she's feeling like so confident when she's in work now and she can wear anything. Write about that.
Right.
So instead of trying to write about everything, just pick one and use it as a jump off point. That's the old school way. The new school is to put the notes, the actual pictures of the notes, into ChatGPT and use that as your input. So then you say, this is my ideal client avatar. Like, help me, give me some content ideas. How can I talk to this person? What offers, you know, how can I structure my offers and all that kind of stuff? I prefer old school, but it's because I am old school. I'm like a dinosaur. But I know that when I put notes for clients into ChatGPT and ask them for some content ideas or ideas for blogs or ideas for scorecards or ideas for whatever, it comes out with some pretty good stuff because the input's top of the range. You know, the input's better, so the outputs are better. So that's the way, that's from a strategic point of view, how to use the work when you've done this. And then
imagine on that building a GPT, because you can build a personal one, can't you? Which
it's in process at the moment.
But just in ChatGPT, if you were using it or subscribe, you can build them. We built one recently. I forget what it was for now. We were doing Summit, and only the stuff you put in is what it's referencing all the time. It's like, GPT, I can imagine just the leverage you could get with that for this.
It's the best input you can put in from a marketing point of view, in my opinion. And then on a spiritual point of view, I explain the practice, and the practice is so simple. So the practice is this. So you've got the name of your ideal client. So let's call her Emma. Every day, before you start your day, at a time and a place to suit you though. So I do it in bed. So like I get up, go for a wee, go back to bed. And I just lie in my bed and I just set an intention to connect with Emily, who's my ideal client. I put my hand on my heart and I do one deep breath, that's it. So it's just like, breathe in. Hope everyone's having a breath. And with my eyes closed, I just drop into my own heart space and I set an intention to connect with Emily in her heart space. And I go in and I talk to her. And I spend some time with her. And I talked about this in the car, didn't I? Every time I see her, I give her something else. So if anyone remembers those dolls where you get the little outfits and you used to hook the cardboard top and trousers to make different outfits, it's a bit like that. So every time I see her, I give her something else. It might be a new car from Feeling Generous, or a new haircut, or a new outfit, or like just something new for a house. But every time I go, I like literally connect with her and I talk to her like she's my friend. I'm like, hi, Emily, how you doing? It's me, Helen. Same as the way I pray. Hi, God, it's me, Helen. But like, hi, Emily, how you doing? Like, I just want to ask you, what do you need to hear from me today? Like, how are you feeling? Like, what can I say in my content that's going to make you really feel the way I feel, which is I really want to help you. I really want to bring you towards me. I really do know I can help you.
This is deep.
Yeah, like what do you need to hear from me to feel safe? Yeah.
This ain't marketing.
Exactly. It's a spiritual practice, right? So it's like connecting in with it and being in her energy and just visualizing it and bringing it to life. And, you know, some people can't visualize. And so you might be better having a picture. You know, maybe get AI to do your picture of your ideal client.
This sounds morbid.
Or do a drawing or whatever. But I can just picture in my head. You know, she's great. I love her.
This sounds morbid. And I don't mean it to sound morbid. But the thing that's jumping into my head is it like I'd spoke to you over lunch about Paul who passed away. My first friend who passed away.
Yeah.
I can see me talking to Paul now.
Yeah.
And having zero resistance towards this. This is what it sort of reminds me of. But I loved him. I miss him. It's hard, you know what I mean? Grief's horrible, but I'm past the painful phase now. I'd think of the good stuff and I can talk to him and say, hey, mate, what would we do if we were doing this song?
Yeah.
You know, because he's my bandmate. It reminds me of this a little bit. I know that's a bit morbid.
Well, it's a connection process. It's an energetic connection,
with
right?
somebody that's not here is
exactly.
the point.
With somebody who you can't see again in this world, right? But doesn't mean you can't speak to them and have that energetic connection with them. I'm
not religious and I don't pray, but I have a version of God in my own mind. You know what I mean?
Well, this is it. So I am religious. I was christened in my early 40s, and for me, like, it's all within us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that the universe is within us. God is within us. The energy is within us. Everyone who's passed away is within us. Everyone who's yet to come is within us, because we're all one. And we're just here having an experience. So why can't we energetically connect with an ideal client that we've created in our mind, just like we can energetically connect with someone who's passed away, or energetically connect with someone who's in another country, or that we can't actually physically see. Like, why can't we? But the thing is, it's a spiritual practice, but you don't need to be spiritual to get the benefit. You can be a complete non-believer, right? I
think that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, so what I would like to say to anyone who's like, whoa, put the brakes on, I don't care about this stuff, like it's all a bit woo and a bit weird, right? Which I'm fine. Like, I'm woo as fuck. So I could say, there's nothing anyone could say to me that's woo that would like blow my mind. But I know for some people it's like, ooh, not quite ready for this. So what I would say is, if you think that closing your eyes for 1 minute and just taking a breath.
Get still.
And get quiet. Because that's what we don't do, because we fill our time, brain, ears with stuff, right? Because we don't like being still. And just humour me. Just draw a stick person, give them a name, and connect with them. If you don't want to do the whole thing, just connect with them, right? And see what happens. So there's two things that can happen, right? If you, in fact, don't just do the stick person, do the whole process, right? So if you do the whole process, you draw them out, you map them out, you do your happy face, you do your sad face, you do your happy face, you work out, what about your program or products or service? What about you? What's next for them? Why is it now the time? Do that process. And again, should only take you an hour or so. Then spend 1 minute, that's all I'm asking for, connecting in with them. Nothing might happen, right? Just try it again another day. Just trust me on this, right? And what you'll find or feel is that something will happen that you will want to explain away. Yeah, well, that's just me making things up in my own head. Fine. If it's you making things up, and it still works, right? It doesn't matter. I
did that the first time.
It doesn't matter.
I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know.
It doesn't matter, right? But if you connect with your ideal client, no matter what happens, whether you don't feel anything or you hear something or you think something or you've visualized something, it doesn't matter, right? But I want you to do that before you write a post for your ideal client. Right? If you do that every day, so your first post of the day every day comes after that minute of quiet and connection, let's see what happens. And either you can be right, i.e. I'm wrong and this is all a load of mumbo jumbo nonsense, or you can be rich, i.e. your ideal client finds your content suddenly fascinating and is compelled towards you and they want to buy from you.
Resistance,
yeah, exactly. And you can send me a nice message with a light bulb emoji, and you can send me all the love. And if it doesn't work and you hate me, then email him. And
then they go do the heavy lift and refer. And then you get another one and you're like, oh, you were right. Helen's amazing.
Well, this is it. All I want is for people to just try it and trust it, and that's religion and faith and manifesting and universal energy. It's having faith and trusting it and being open to it. That's all I ask for people, is for people to be open to it, open heart, open mind. And it is a mixture of strategy and spirituality. It is a mix of the two. So take what you want and drop what you don't. Sure. If the spiritual stuff is like, not for me, the strategy will get you a long way. My ideal client avatar work is the best in the world. There's no one who does it as well as me. But when I put in the spirituality, it's like, now we're talking. This is like another level. There's another dimension to this that I've only really just realized myself. Right. And I know by being open about it, I open myself up to ridicule and resistance, and I'm fine for that, because... Well,
that's like what Mitch had said to you. You
got to have one without the other. And if I want to... As I said to Shari, I believe in this work so much that somebody has to go first. It might as well be me. Right? And when someone goes first, they're always open to it. Yeah, they're always like, people want to throw rocks at people that go first. Yeah, people who are bold and brave and say things and do things that other people aren't prepared to do, then people don't like it, and that's fine. But I think this work is too important to not bring to the world.
There's an old saying there. I mean, not everybody's going to... I said to you, I'm not a first person. Remember we were talking the other day, I said, I won't go first. I'll let someone else just jump off there and see if it's deep enough. And then I'll usually be an early adopter in some instances. But there's that old phrase, isn't there, about the, like you were just saying about, oh God, a train of thought here. first they don't believe you, then they try and flame you, then they kind of agree with you, and then they're on board with you.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's what I had with
something like that.
Yeah, I had the same thing with my LinkedIn stuff.
Yeah.
So, and people came to me after a couple of years, and like one guy, like, he was really sweet, to be honest, because he was in my DMs and he was like, you know what? I've been following you for about 4 or 5 years and I could not stand you. When you first came on, I couldn't stand you. Everything you said annoyed me. I basically talked about you, like, it's to everyone I could meet about how awful you were. Yeah. And like, I just hated you. Yeah. I even unfollowed you and whatever. He said, and I'm back in your DMs, firstly to apologize. Yeah. But secondly, to tell you, like, it was never you.
Yeah,
I wasn't ready to hear it, and you triggered me all over the place. Yeah. And I know there'll be other people like me, and I need you to know it wasn't you. And I think what you're doing is amazing. And I'm now like, if you'll let me, I'd love to be in your world. And he became a big sort of supporter and fan, and I'd say we became friends. And he said, can I come and, like, I'm in Warrington, like, can I take you out and as an apology? Yeah. Like, we went for lunch and everything. Wow. And I said, I don't need an apology, but I love lunch, so I can do that. And that's happened to me a lot, women and men. But
I've got Justin Bieber in my head. Is it too late to say that I'm sorry?
But it's really interesting because I've had women say to me, like, you frightened me to death. I opened up a video. I was like, whoa, no, she's too much for me, not ready. Right. But I wasn't ready. So to me,
it's them.
Yeah. I'm ready to say what I've got to say. Yeah. I'm ready to open myself up to ridicule and debate and discussion. I'm fine with that. Yeah. If you're listening to this and it's like, it's making you feel a certain kind of way, then that's great. Like, as soon as you've worked your way from left to right, you can come back. I think it's 5-6 years ago, a client came into my world. She said, I've been following you for about 2 years. People have said good stuff about you when I was helping people with storytelling and video and whatnot. That was the thing. And she said, I couldn't relate to you. She said, I said, what was it? She went, the swearing. Right. Well, that's fair enough. And that's what some people's hard limit, and that's okay, yeah.
I'm proper potty mouth. And then the divine irony of it, she was sat there 2 weeks ago, just before Christmas, because she was a guest on one of my clients, who I produced for. She was sat there and I thought...
You don't adapt based on other people's opinions. No. You have to stay strong in who you are and what you believe in. And other people's opinions are none of my business, Yeah. My business isn't built on other people's opinions. My business is built on me being very sure on my opinions. And people will come and go out of my life and out of my business, And that's okay. And I think when I start to talk about spirituality and talk about connection and talk about the soul... It doesn't even feel risky to me. No. It feels right. It feels important. It feels like, and it does turn people off. Like,
sure, of course.
We're transitioning the mastermind, which has been very LinkedIn focused, into ideal client attraction focused. So I know
where you're going with this. So they're like, what's this now?
So when I did the pivot, I did the live. So when I do my calls, I get loads of people coming, which is lovely. Yeah. It's like, oh, Helen's on, because we do a call every week, but I only do one a month. And so I had the biggest turnout ever. Like, I had loads of people on the Zoom, and then I was nervous because these are all my paying clients, because their opinion does matter.
So had you announced that this was going to be?
I did it to them first.
But did you suggest that there's going to be an announcement?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what's going on next year.
There's the concept.
Yeah. But I was nervous about telling them because they are my paying clients. So like their opinion does matter to me because they're my ideal clients. That's why they're in my program, Sure. And as I was talking through this process of where I'd been at and how I was feeling about it, like, I could feel myself getting super emotional. Right. Well, super connected, but I could see some of them were getting emotional and connected with it. And I could see them really willing me on. Yeah. Like, I've only really had that feeling once before, and that was at my wedding. So Stu and I got married, and we're both second time around. And I remember in the room in the when we're doing the speeches and that, I could feel everybody's love. Yeah. They were really rooting for us. They were really willing us on. I really felt it. In the church, I felt it in the room, and it was like that. It was almost like I could feel their energy through the screen of like, we're behind you, we want this for you. And the chat was really blowing up, and everyone's like, wow, this is amazing. This is so good. And we're so excited to come on this journey with you. And we can't wait to really dial in our ideal clients. And we love the LinkedIn stuff, but we're really excited to see this new evolution of you. And it was really beautiful. And I cried, and some of them cried, and I just felt really validated and fantastic. And then we got an email. I've just watched that live with Helen. She's practicing the occult. I want no part of this. Our values do not align. I want a full refund and be removed immediately. It's like, oh, you know, but
you can't have one without the other.
You can't have one without the other. It was literally within the same minute. And I was like, oh, I've got to get myself out of that left.
How did you feel?
And into the right. It was like, it stings.
Was it a wallop?
It was a wallop.
Yeah, because you just had a massive peak.
Massive peak.
That's the equivalent of, does anybody object to this wedding? It's like, oh, fucking hello. At the back, you know.
I was like,
what's that mean? You can do it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. But it was really good because it showed me, like, you are going to get that. So just accept it.
Was you quite quick then, moving your energy around and moving from one part?
I was like, and then I really went back to, how was I feeling a minute ago?
Did you tell me about this, or did you write about this? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember because I think I know this.
I think I might have written about it. Yeah. Because it's part of the process, isn't it? That not everyone's going to love what you do.
Yeah.
And you've got to be brave. But I've got to model for my clients.
Yeah.
So people follow me and they listen to me.
You've got to show it.
I've got to show it.
Yeah.
I've got to, and this is what I said to them in the Zoom room. I was like, I am doing this in real time and you are all coming with me. Like I am literally rebranding, repositioning. I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a book. I'm doing it all at once. And I've only just decided.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know what's going to happen myself.
It's the very definition
I need you to trust me and come with me. You know?
It's the very definition of, I think we said this in the last episode. It wasn't this one, about integrity.
Yeah.
All right, there's going to be a shift. This is who I am. You know, you knew there were going to. You predicted that there would be fallout. Of course there will, and not everybody's going to be. I mean, like, what the beauty of all this is it doesn't matter which one you start with, but it's going to compound. The refinement's going to happen, and more alignment's going to happen because you're going to have more and more definitions of it, aren't you?
I think it's defining the ideal client as a fantasy person, because the real people you get in won't be the dream clients, because they'll be flawed.
Yeah.
Because humans are flawed.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good differentiating factor.
The dream client, what I would say is revisiting your ideal client, making it bigger and better.
Interestingly, on that, by the way, my clients really struggle to tell me the truth. And whereas with yours, you can cut straight to the chase.
You're giving them the answers because you're creating them, aren't you? So there's no filter between what they think and feel because you're overlaying what you want onto them.
Yeah.
Your ideal client is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, what I see when people do this work, particularly without me, is that they think very small. Right. They play very small.
Hence, when the facilitator comes in, you can break those boundaries down. Yeah.
So what I would say is,
that's a limit on my method, because they would think that I wouldn't.
And they're real people, so they've got real shit going on. Whereas this is a fantasy unicorn, right?
Yeah.
But what I would say with revisiting this is, like you say, you'll attract somebody like, oh my God, they're like almost this exact same. And I get that a lot in my DMs. Oh my God, Emma's arrived, but she's called Mary.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's fine.
And she's 46, God damn it, not 45.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's almost like, what if we thought even bigger here?
Yeah.
What if we revised our ideal client to be even more perfect?
Yeah.
Now we've seen we can do it, and we've kept ourselves quite small, a bit like with pricing.
Yeah.
What if I charge £100 an hour? Oh my God, someone paid it.
Yeah.
Or what if I charge £1,000 an hour? Oh my God, someone paid it.
Right.
What if I charge £2,000? Oh my God, you know what I mean? So it's like, ideal client avatar work is, the thing I see with a lot of people is they do think small. They think, well, this person would be great, rather than this person would be off the scale perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
This is fantasy land. You can let your imagination go.
It's fantasy land, which is why I always say, don't think about real people, because real people are flawed as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, just quite the nature of us.
Yeah.
And when we talked in episode 1 about the client matrix, like even your green clients who tick a lot of your boxes, marked out of 10, none of them will be 10 out of 10 on every single level. Whereas this dream client is 10 out of 10 on every level.
So you've got a better chance of hitting the thing out, because you're really painting the perfect picture.
Absolutely perfect, yeah.
Last question is would people have multiple?
Yes. So, and they see this a lot with the more experienced, if you like, or the more jaded, as we call ourselves, we're a decade in. So I believe that every offer, every event, every product, every service should have its own ideal client avatar.
So even the levels to your...
Yeah. Everything should have its own ICA.
So if it's a DIY, done together, done for you, it's got a separate one.
Can you sell one ICA lots of different things? Yes. But have fun with it, again, coming back to that. And what we used to do at the agencies, we'd have them on the wall and be like, this is Emma and she's the ideal client for this. And this is Gemma and she's the ideal client for that. And there's nuances for each one.
Yeah.
You know, so just tweak it a little bit.
Are there obviously the offer's different because it's a different product or service, but are you slightly different as well? Based on like who you're going to be? Like if you're doing DIY stuff for people, like your book is a DIY thing, compared to say your mastermind or your co-creation sessions. Are there slight adjustments to you as well? So from a self-client offer.
Yeah, definitely. So the way I show up in my mastermind is different to the way I show up in a one-to-one call.
Sure.
Nuanced. Yeah. So I'm still the same person, still the same energy and all the rest of it. Yeah. But I show up in a different energy.
Yeah.
Because a co-creation session, I'm there to facilitate this person's experience and it's me and them and it's intimate and it's incredible and it's like, we've got to get it done. And I've got to be at my ultimate best, you know, show pony, like I've got to do my stuff. But at the same time, it's also very chill because it's just me and them in a room.
Yeah.
When I'm in my program, I am the show pony. That's what they paid to see.
Yeah.
I am the Beyonce. I've got to put on a show. Yeah. I've got to entertain. I've got to educate. I've got to make people feel seen and heard and validated, even though there's hundreds of them, right? So there's a different energy to hold that space,
right?
You know, and DIY, people buying a PDF or something, you know, doesn't require anything of me.
No, just at the point of creation, isn't it?
Just at the point of creation, yeah. And, you know, the me that shows up on socials is like, I'm not there to convince you that you need to buy from me. That's not my energy.
Yeah.
My energy on socials is, this is who I am, you know.
Like it or lump it.
Like it or lump it. This is who I am. This is my life. This is what I want to share with the world, you know? So if you're not paying me, i.e. following me on social media, you're going to get whatever I want you to get that day. If you're paying me, you're going to get whatever you need that day because that's what you pay me for.
Yeah.
You know, if you pay me one-to-one, you're going to get everything I've got that day.
It's like my mum at tea time when we was kids. What's for tea, mum? If it's there, you can eat it. If it ain't, you can't.
And it's like, I deliver what I need to deliver in each space. Yeah. And I think, there's a different alignment of self with each offer.
Yeah.
So each client, I do have clients that do all three and they go through the process, if you like, but I also have some that just come in for the one-to-one stuff. They don't want a group program.
Credit where credit's due. Sherry, our mutual friend, she calls it archetypes. There's a different archetype for, I'm different when I'm protective dad.
Yeah.
I'm different when I'm counsel dad. I'm, counseling my kids. I'm different when I've got to be disciplined dad. It's like, I can ask you 3 times, stop messing around.
Exactly. You've got to put on different hats for different situations for sure. Yeah. Sure. But I think the core of yourself stays the same. The energy you bring will possibly change based on what the person on the other side needs to get.
This one was a big one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. How long? Right. Okay, it was a big one.
Getting longer
30
and longer.
minutes. 30 minutes is only 1 hour, 10 minutes now. Yeah.
Apologies, my lovely listeners. I'm sure we mentioned 30-minute episodes earlier on. Might have to edit that out because we've not done 30 minutes yet.
I got my notes here and the key points one, and I just knew, I was like, she's gonna go at this one. She's gonna both barrel this one because I said, do you want me to point some points out? No, I'll do this.
I didn't want you to. Yeah. I wanted to get it out because I've been doing it for years, but I've not been teaching it for years. So I've got to get used to telling people how to do the process for themselves.
Well, to be very meta, that in and of itself is part of all of it. They're getting to see you be in your magic, do your thing, because, each episode so far up to this has been me going, right, the key points are going to cover. I'll have listened to this, right, else where should we start? You're like, give me the reins here, boyo, let's go. I'm like, whoa, here she goes.
The Helen show now,
I just step aside. I think it's the most quiet I've been in it for a lot, but I was enjoying it because it was cool unpacking it. But I wanted to stress that point that, like, look, this is it in action.
It's a process as well. It flows, so it's not something you can stop and start. You've got to get it done, But I was going to say, you know who you are talking to, and it's this flow that it's a joy actually sat here just listening and watching. I go, this is awesome. Well, I say this on my posts, and it's so funny because sometimes I write things, I think, oh, wow, God, and I think I said something like, I don't teach ideal client attraction, I am ideal client attraction. It's just like...
Mike, like,
well, it's true.
Yeah.
It's like I live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it. Like I attract my ideal clients day in, day out.
Yeah.
And now I do it by talking about ideal client, but I did it before with the LinkedIn stuff. So I used to sell LinkedIn training on LinkedIn, which was quite meta. Now I sell ideal client attraction work to my ideal clients using my ideal client attraction methodology.
Yeah.
Like it is all a bit meta, but for me that aligns. So again, it's alignment. I am living in total alignment with myself, my client, and my offer.
You're congruent.
I'm congruent.
Yeah. I love that word. The first time I heard it, what does that mean? I didn't know. It's so thick.
Is it congruent or congruent?
Congruent, I say. And congruent, because I think I say congruency, but sometimes I don't even know if that's a word because I think sometimes spell check goes, get stuffed, that's not a word. And I'm like, okay.
It's an important part of the podcast because this is the episode I know I'll refer thousands of people to.
Sure.
So apologies for my voice because it's breaking a bit now. So we've been filming, but it's the methodology step by step.
Sure.
And this is the one episode that if you listen to it and do the work, will change your life.
Yeah. Anything to add before we wrap up this one?
Have fun with it.
Have fun.
Relax. It's all going to be all right. It's not a test.
I think that's a great take home for it.
Yeah.
I think that should be repeated as well because I don't think people do that or remember that or know that. And I think, hey, chill out. Yeah. Have fun with it. Yeah.
And keep going back to it. So it's a spiritual practice, right? It's a daily practice. It's a devotional thing, right? So you go in and take a breath and you drop into your heart space and connect with your ideal client and hang out with them for a bit and then write your post. You'll notice that your posts are better. We're going to talk about content next episode, right? But if you just do that and just trust me and trust the process, do it for 21 days and let me know how you get on in the DMs. If it's good, if it's bad, email, remember.
That's good advice. Okay, lovely listeners. That's your name, lovely listeners.
Lovely listeners.
From Hel's and from her lovely hostess with the mostess, Mark. Over and out.
See you on the next one.